Check the technique, see if you can follow it. Check the technique, see if you can follow it.
Check the Technique is sponsored by Cosmic Trigger Audio, mastering for perfection. So you just finished making the dopest beat and you want to have the ill mastering to take your mix to the next level? Cosmic Trigger can take your baby and put it into the same league as the greats, mastering for radio, vinyl and streaming. Go to Facebook, Cosmic Trigger Audio, and quote, "I'm down with CTT" to get 10% off your first 3 masters. Welcome to episode 1 of Check the Technique podcast, where I, Pimpernel Jones, interview and showcase my favourite producers about all things technical, geeky in the world of music and production. I want to find out the secret sauce that elevates their production and prints their personal style. Now, Ad1 from Bass FM New Zealand schooled me on our first guest, so shouts to Ad1, and also check his neighbourhood goods record store and clothes store where he sells like vintage clothes and street corner music, stone's throw and all that good stuff. And to top it all, I've just done an exclusive guest mix for the store, and you can grab that on their Mixcloud page for Neighbourhood Goods, and that's Neighbourhood Goods versus Pimpernel Jones. So check that out for some nice DJ mix beats and stuff like that. So our first guest hails from LA and is part of the great new wave of Californian lo-fi producers over the last decade, like the Low End Theory Cats, Brain Feeder and all those good peeps. So I'm pleased to introduce my first guest, Ghost McGrady. Easy man, welcome to the show.
Hey man, nice to be here. Appreciate you.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your style of music.
Well, originally I'm from Florida, Orlando, Florida. I started making beats when I was like 11 years old. I got a pirated copy of FL Studio, and I had seen there's like some computer game called Coke Music Generator or something, or Pepsi. I forget what brand it was, but some soda company had like a music creator, and I saw that, and I googled like what's the like most similar thing to that, and it was FL Studio. So I started making beats when I was like 11. And, yeah, man, I make, kind of trippy, chill beats. And I also produce for rappers as well, produce for a bunch of rappers. Originally, though, when I started making beats, it was, I wasn't trying to work with anybody else. And then when I was getting near the end of high school, I started selling beats to different people at my school. And kind of fell in love with producing for rappers too. So, yeah, man.
So, what type of music were you listening to when you were 11?
When I was 11, it was funny, man. I was a diehard rap fan when I was like 8 and 9, and then when I was about 10, I was like right around the era of like 50 Cent and stuff like that. I like hated rap. I took an entire year off from like listening to any rap music, and I just listened to rock music. I listened to like System of a Down. I listened to who else did I like? I was a huge Linkin Park fan, like all these different bands. I don't know, and I just fucking hated rap. I don't know what it was, and then like a year later, I discovered that there was like a whole world of rap music that wasn't what was on the radio. And then that's when I fell in love with rap again, and that's when I started making beats and getting into sampling and all that. But yeah, my first beats were so bad because all I was listening to was rock music. So they had like rock style like drums and like they had like death metal kick patterns and shit.
Were you like using sort of like guitar VSTs as well to do
Yeah,
chords
guitar
and stuff?
VST, yeah, stuff like that.
The RE effects, was it, or something like that?
No, I used yeah, exactly, right. Nexus.
Yeah.
I use a lot of Nexus. Yeah, but no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, REFX. But yeah, man, it was terrible, really. Like my first shit was so bad, bro. Oh my god, that just reminds me. The biggest thing that I had on the internet when I was like 13, and I think it might still be on the internet, is I mashed up Britney Spears and the band Disturbed.
Wow.
So it was like, yeah, it was insanely bad, bro. But that shit got like a few thousand views on YouTube because people were looking for crap like that back then.
It's funny you say that. I literally just did a Britney Spears mashup like yesterday. I
Yeah.
recreated Eddie Murphy Party All the Time, and when it got to the vocal bit, I had nothing to put there. And when I was trying to work out the melody for Party All the Time, I was playing like the Toxic riff, and I was like, okay, this is
Yeah,
just too
that's the one.
this is too
That's
close.
the one I used, dude.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, wicked. Now checking on your Bandcamp, you've been like
Mhm.
prolific over the last 6 years or so. How many releases have you put out altogether?
Oh, damn, that's a good question. I don't even know. I would have to count them. A lot. Like there, I had I would say I think I started in like 2012 putting out projects maybe, and that was my main focus. Not really working with people. Like it just literally every single day. I was in 2012. I was a junior in college or sophomore, something like that, and like I literally did nothing except just go to the bare minimum of classes and then come home and just make music. So I was putting out a ton of stuff early on, and then I went through different phases throughout the years of feeling like I'm oversaturating, myself or whatever, putting too much out. And then other phases where I'm like, nah, forget that. I need to put out something every month. So there were times where I had a goal to like put out an entire project every single month, and I did that for like a 4 month period, I think.
Did you feel burnt out or anything afterwards? Or
Yeah, definitely. I was like, it was so hard, man. Like there was a certain point where I couldn't do it anymore. There was no way.
there's
And also, with I guess we could get into this, but with like where I'm at now with like trying to put out stuff on vinyl and doing like full albums, it it's not a good idea to like force yourself to try to crank out something every month. I found that it's better if I can be more patient than that.
for sure. Do you find though that the sort of the art of practice, like even if you're not making stuff to put out, just getting in the studio and like learning new bits or just having that sort of impulse to create sort of helps?
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm pretty weird with it. Like I'm not in life an organized person, but somehow in music, I'm super organized with it. Like there'll be a week where maybe I don't make any beats, but I just listen to samples for a whole week and categorize everything. Like if I find a guitar riff or whatever, I put that in the guitar riff folder. There are drums, everything is put in the correct percussion folder or anything. So I'm always just building like, folders of stuff to work on when I finally do feel creative to actually make something. And I also have this massive Word document that lists samples that I've come across over the past like 2 years. So like literally I could never probably dig for a sample again if I wanted to, but I love it so much, so I'm always going to. But I have so many things marked and listed that like I could sit for a month and make like 10,000 beats so quickly because they're all just everything is like so organized.
Um, do you ever? I mean, do you have a preference then of like digging sort of digital stuff or like records or?
Yeah, man. I guess I don't know if I have a preference, but each has their pluses and minuses, I guess. I think my favorite songs that I've made, like the ones that I always feel the most personally connected to, are the ones that I found on vinyl. I think just because of the experience of finding it yourself, bringing it home, you don't know what it's going to sound like. You put it on, and I've played so many records that are garbage. When you find a good one, especially because I'm always looking in the dollar bins. So like if I find something dope and then it turns into a song that I love, like that's way more special to me than if I come across something on YouTube. But the thing about YouTube is just it's so fast. Like I have I follow probably I think it's somewhere like around 500 or more channels on YouTube that I've come across over the years that are like these like
Collectors.
some dude in Italy, yeah, with like 200 subscribers, but
Hmm.
he posts rare Italian
78s and
prog.
weird stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, brilliant,
exactly.
brilliant resources, to be honest. And it's like
Yeah,
you can see it's somebody's like passion, and
yeah,
they
and
probably don't even realize that it's influencing other people to sort of go
mm-mm.
out and
No, and yeah, I always try to reach out to those people and tell them like I really appreciate you because yeah, that's hard work. And then a lot of times these channels will get taken down from the copyright, you know,
for sure.
claims or whatever, and then it's like these people spent all this time and then their 1,000 video channel is completely taken down and stuff. So there's actually a couple channels that I have this app that I have downloaded their entire channel onto my computer in the case that they get taken down. And I've even told the guy like, hey man, if your channel gets taken down, like just message me because I have your entire fucking channel on my computer. Because like some of them are just so good at like finding these gems and sharing them, even though like they have such a small audience.
Do you remember when all the blogs were really big and everybody was just ripping everything? And
Mm-hmm.
so I used to follow a couple of library record ones, and
Yeah.
the way it was set up was there's no sort of like master list of what library records came out where and which library house. So the guy was like, everybody just rip what you've got and upload it, and we'll try and sort of categorize it that way. And honestly, there's gems. And then I got so deep into listening to all these library music and like all these really, like, I mean, a lot of it is shit, right? But
Yeah.
when you get
Yeah.
to the good ones, it just makes it all worth it. So I
Right.
spent 2 or 3 years just all day and all night. Even when I was going to sleep, I'd have something on like that in the background, and it was like having the bends when I finished. Like it took me like a year or two just to sort of get back into what what everybody else, what's going on in the real world, because I was just stuck in my sort of like 60s
Yeah.
flute funk and weird like
Right.
electronica bits and stuff.
Yeah, dude. I that's very relatable to me.
So
Yeah.
what are you using to do your stuff? Are you on like hardware and then into software, or
Right. Yeah. So I've had every phase you could have in life with the beats. I've had an MPC 2000 XL. I've had all that stuff, and now my current thing is I use a machine, and I just use a MIDI keyboard, just a basic MIDI keyboard.
Mhm.
And yeah, man, those are pretty much the two things I use every day right now. And then I have, I just have a giant, not sorry, I have a super small room crammed full of every percussion instrument you could ever imagine, and yeah, walls of records. That's pretty much what my surroundings are.
um I got an SP recently.
Uh-huh.
I've had an XL for a while.
Okay.
And I've really got in at the wrong time for like the SP404 type thing. But I was recording all my percussion through it, and there was something really gritty about it, which almost sounded better than sample libraries. I don't know what it was. It just
Yeah, dude, I have one as well, and yeah, they have like some special effect that everybody tries to emulate on there. I forget, it's
the
some like
vinyl,
drum crunching. Yeah,
the
yeah, the
the
vinyl.
vinyl plugin. So that's just got like a sort of a hiss and a wow
Yeah.
flutter sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
And then the one everyone goes on about is the 303 one because it had the vinyl sim had a compressor on it,
Right.
and
They
that had its own particular tone or whatever.
uh-huh. I found a plugin for FL Studio that emulates that. So I've actually been using that.
Is it the Goodhertz Wolf?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the one.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, my
Yeah.
friend posted a video about that to me yesterday, and it was
That's
the
crazy.
creator explaining it. I'll send it to you, and it's the
Yeah.
creator explaining how he sort of got onto making the Wolf thing, and he was obsessed with this Red Bull Music Academy video with Madlib.
Yeah,
They were
I watched that interview probably twice, but yeah, keep going.
Oh yeah. So it's brilliant, and he's going, like
Mhm.
he sent it to his mate, and his mate was a plug-in engineer, and they just worked out. Yeah, it's absolutely great. I only really discovered the Goodhertz in the last like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah,
Because of the SP.
less than that actually for me, like just probably 2 months ago or something.
And was that from like reading like blogs and sort of sample forums and like groups?
I honestly don't remember. It might have come up on my Twitter or Instagram, or Yeah, because I don't necessarily read blogs like that, but I do, if I had like, there's none that I always go to, but if I do have a question, I always just Google it, and you end up on a blog or a forum
For sure.
anytime you have a real technical question like that. So maybe I Googled something about it, but yeah, either way, that plugin is dope. But it's still different to do it on the actual 303 or the 404, but it's not a bad alternative if you're completely like in the digital world right now, like me.
I mean, with digital stuff, you can get there eventually with the right tweaking. You can copy something one for one, but there's something
Right.
immediate about the hardware, and there's the play factor, because when you're using
Yeah.
hardware, it is hands on and that, and it's effortless. Whereas with the digital side, you have to sort of work really hard to just get to like the basic.
Right. Yeah, that's why I love the machine, though. I guess I shouldn't have said I'm totally, digital or whatever, but it's just, you know, it's a different thing, the 303 or the 404.
For sure.
But yeah, the machine is I just got the new machine controller, and it's amazing. It's definitely my favorite MIDI drum controller I've ever had.
Does it
It's
come with
great.
complete or something like that, or did you already have complete?
Yeah. No, I already had it, and it does come with it. So I had the older version, though. I guess I don't know. That was one of those ones that was really hard to torrent.
Yeah,
I'm
because
assuming you
they
probably
like
try to torrent it.
40 gig. How many gigs is it?
Yeah, yeah. It's like 40, something absurd.
Yeah, I mean
That one and Omnisphere are a nightmare.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the problem I always had with complete is I presumed that everybody's going to have it, so everybody's going to have the same sort of. Maybe not like the sample packs. They'd have the same. Excuse me. Like I don't mind. Everybody has the same sort of like raw synth VST or something, because you can take that anywhere. But if it's like, I don't know, a jazz guitar loop or something, then you're gonna start hearing it in. Like I was on hold the other day I was on hold to the water company, and I was listening to the music, and it was the same Spanish guitar riff as the Joe Rogan podcast theme tune, and I was like, wait a second, like things get about, man. Like
That's amazing. Yeah, that's actually funny you said that. This is totally random and pointless, but yeah, there's like some basketball highlight YouTube channel that I love, and they always have this beat, and I was sitting there, and my mom was watching some show about like selling houses or something, and it was that same beat, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like this like, yeah, I don't know, it's so weird, man.
Someone got paid for
people
that.
reuse
Someone got paid good money for just like finding just like the beat from the complete or whatever. How big is it though? Do you know? Like it's gigabytes.
Yeah, it's up there.
Do you need a new hard drive or something for it, or?
Well, that's a whole thing with me. I had to buy a 16 terabyte external hard drive, because this is a whole other subject. I don't know if you want to get into it, but I do tons of video editing.
Oh, brilliant!
And
okay, cool.
yeah, that's like my
main
main gig right now. Yeah, okay, so I started. I'll just tell this real quickly. There's a website called Track Train. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, to sell beats, and I joined that website and made a little promo video. The guy who owns this website saw the video and hired me to be like their video editor, graphics designer guy. And then from that, a manager from Sony, reached out to me because one of their artists was getting ready to release an album, and they needed a bunch of promo videos, and saw my work. So now, for the past like 3 months, that's been my main job, is doing video editing, making promos, editing music videos.
So is that sort of like Premiere and After Effects? And is it more editing, or is it more the special effects sort of?
It's both, but yeah, I do tons of After Effects stuff. Like just in my free time, I'm always. It's like
it's a great tool to play with, isn't it? Like
yeah. So I'll play with it and just make stuff and just keep it on ice, and then whenever, it's kind of like just weird trippy things that you can blend into other ideas or other people's things that you get hired for. So
have you ever flirted with VJ and stuff then?
No, I haven't. What is that? VJ?
VJ, video like jockey. So you know
Um,
you either have the music with the you know you play the video and you can mix, and basically you can do it with a MIDI controller, and you know you either mix the videos instead of the songs, you know, make a set list like that, or you can just do
yeah.
it with visuals, like trippy visuals, and just sort of go between them and stuff. I think Grand VJ or Arceus or something like that, they're the ones to look for, like
Okay.
maybe check the old Pirate Bay or something and have a gan to see if it's any, you know,
Yeah.
any cop or whatever. But
Yeah, for sure.
it's like it's got some really good After Effects. You know, you have to spend a good, you know, 30 minutes maybe just to see if an idea that you're fucking about with, it looks good, right? You know, you press render and you wait,
Yeah.
you go for a cup of tea or coffee or whatever. But
Yeah,
these
dude.
VJ softwares are pretty immediate, and they've only got like
Okay.
basic effects, but you know,
Uh-huh.
you can do mad stuff with them. So
Okay.
I was
Sick.
just curious, but yeah. Okay, so they say in music that the drugs influence the sound of the scenes, and it seems like there's like a weed renaissance out in LA since like medicinal and then legislation of marijuana. So
Uh-huh.
how has like weed influenced the LA scene?
Um, yeah, I would probably say just in general, I don't even know if it's the weed or it's the weather or it's just a combination of, the politics too. Just so, I grew up in Florida, and then when I moved to LA, I was blown away by how nice people were. Like, I had never just, and it kind of threw me off and made me feel uncomfortable. Like, just people were so friendly and smiley in LA compared to where I grew up. It just felt so strange. Like, I didn't know if people were being phony or what. And some people are phony, obviously, but I think there's just something about the West Coast where people are just more peaceful in a way and more like kind of, and it's reflected in the music. Like, if you grow up somewhere where everything's kind of a little more happier
Sure.
and mellow, the music might kind of be a little more happier and mellow. Obviously, you have like, Tupac, who's not a happy artist, but there's still a different energy in
Absolutely.
general that you can say from the LA scene compared to, um,
New York and
like New
the East
York, for
Coast,
example. Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, and there's now obviously there's a lot of that energy on the West Coast. Like, you have Flatbush Zombies and Joey Badass and all these guys that are kind of more trippier in a way, but it's still not the same
It's sort of like
same kind
again
of
a new renaissance of
hazy
like the
vibe.
indie hip hop from New
Yeah,
York and stuff.
right.
What are your thoughts on like these chill hop radio stations?
You're talking like radio stations in
Oh
terms of
no,
like
like no,
style?
I mean like the YouTube channel with the animes and
Oh
just
my
like
god.
playing a
Okay.
loop, like just playing,
Oh my
you
god.
know.
Okay. Well, yeah. So yeah, at first when I found out about these things, I was like, why am I not part of that? I need to be a part of that shit. Help me blow up. Put me in that shit. And now it's like, it's just whatever. Like, I don't even consider it the same thing as what I do, if that makes sense. Like,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I
I
don't know
just
if any of these people are famous, are they? Because like they're all like a
no.
minute songs. That's fine because we all make like
Yeah.
short sample bits like that. Um,
Mhm.
and you know you'll see a name flash up, but as far as I can tell, like there's no, it's not a scene. It's just someone's put a playlist together, and I don't know, like who's listening to it? Is it students? But it's very close, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah. It's like the old Navy like version, or like, I don't know. It's like it just feels, somehow it feels very like contrived and
so when I was thinking of that question, right, I came up with a title for an album, which I'm gonna do like a chill hop record, and it's called Muzak for Millennials, right?
that's what it is.
You know,
Yeah, it's that. Yeah.
it's their elevator music for this
Yeah.
generation, and it's sort of like,
Yeah.
I mean, it is meaningless a little bit, you know,
Mhm.
but it's what gets me is how close it is to this sort of the downbeat stuff that we all do.
Yeah. Like, yeah, right. It's like those artists aren't far away from being dope or
Yeah.
anything. It's just like,
They have the right elements, but maybe not in the right. I don't know.
yeah, maybe not the right mind, the right spirit. It's like, yeah, man, it's just so generic, and I don't know. It's hard to even, it's hard to figure out how that became such a thing.
Right.
But I guess if music, if that's the new music, I'm okay with that because it sounds better.
And to be honest, I love listening to. I mean, I don't know if you've got these guys in your like dollar bins, but over here we've got a guy called fuck, what's the guy called? James Last. Boom, there you go.
How do you spell the last name?
LAST.
Okay. No, I don't think I've seen him. No.
James Last is brilliant. It's probably worth checking. You should just look on his Wikipedia discography because it'd be like 6 or 7 albums a year, every year from 1970 to today. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've styled my logo on his I've taken the font and done my name in his logo and stuff. And like, you may or may not find a couple of his joints in my sort of release stuff, but I'm not going to snitch myself out on on what's what. But like, there's just lots of like German music, and it's covered. That whole 70s thing where a song's popular, so everybody does a version of it.
Right.
I love that, man. Like, I don't know. I collect versions of stuff like Burt Bacharach tracks. Like, if I can find a version of Walk On By, it doesn't matter if it's a weird country one or it's some like all female choir or
right.
I absolutely love like versions like that.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, me too, dude.
Okay, so I've got a couple more questions, Nat. How did you place the Bishop Nehru feature?
So, okay, yeah, let me think about that. Okay, yeah, I remember. So that was like, let's see, 2011 or 2012 when we first got in contact. I had pretty much just started posting my stuff on the internet at that time. And I originally went by a different name. I used to go by the name Backwards.
Okay.
And then as soon as I decided one day I really wanted to make a YouTube channel and like put out these beats, but to differentiate myself, every single beat I put out was gonna have a full video to it. Because at the time there was just people putting like still images and whatever, and everything was whatever type beat, which it still is now. But so yeah, I was putting out stuff on the internet, and then Bishop Nehru popped up on World Star Hip Hop, and it said 15-year-old. The video was titled like 15-year-old freestyles over Mos Def mathematics, and it was fire. So I hit him up and linked him to like the YouTube and put a couple beats in the email or whatever. And then like I think he hit me back the same day and was like, "Yo, I need to use all these beats, blah blah blah." And yeah, it was like an immediate connection or whatever. And then he recorded the songs quickly. And which song did you ask about specifically?
Oh, just any of them, just like how that sort of came about.
Yeah, so yeah, it was just an email thing. Like I reached out to him, and I was making super 90s New York influence beats.
For sure.
Or at least that's the stuff I sent him. I'm sure I was making a few different styles, but the ones that I felt like would connect, especially with him because he was rapping over Mos Def, I sent him some really New York type of shit. And I think every beat in the pack he ended up recording to every single one. So it was the rare like success where you send somebody stuff and every single one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then especially, I mean, those are the songs we put out are still the most viewed or most played things that I've been a part of. One of those videos I'm sure has over 1 million views.
Did it help you to get additional recognition? Do people go out and find you because of that?
100%. Yeah, it was crazy to be part of that. Like the video that now has 1 million views. I remember when he dropped that, it was like I would felt like famous for a day or whatever. It was crazy, man. Like hundreds of messages of people trying to buy beats, random kids from every state, every country, really.
Wow.
You know, yeah, just random dude who like. There was a time where like so many people were buying beats that like they had no real career like aspirations to be a rapper, but people were just willing to buy beats. I don't know, it was crazy. Kids in their bedroom and living in like their
For
grandma's
sure.
house in Iowa are just buying my beats. So yeah, that was huge at the time for when all those Bishop Nehru songs were coming out.
Um, what areas do you want to grow in?
Definitely. Okay. Well, that's a good question. I really want to get my music out there to like in like I want to get my music published and get it out there in more areas like TV or movies and stuff like that. In terms of, I'm super like right now, since I'm so into the video stuff, I've been applying to these big companies out here like Netflix and stuff, trying to be a video editor. But in general, like the my goal would be to score more movies and also be an editor. I've scored a couple of short films, and one of them's still coming out soon that I'm pretty proud of. That I scored like this 7-minute short film that has animation and stuff in it.
That sounds dope.
So yeah, I want to do more stuff. I just want to be a lot more involved in major video productions, basically, in terms of sound design, um, and also editing and stuff like that. I think I'd be really good sound design. I'm obsessed with movies that have great sound design.
Give me three like off the top of your head, which you think are particularly
Oh
good.
man, you put me on the spot. Okay, I don't even the first thing that came to mind was like 2001. Really, all
Sure.
these Stanley Kubrick
Sure.
movies. And then this is not an example I would put in my top three, but it's the first one that popped into my head when I said sound design. There's the newer M Night Shyamalan movie called Split.
Okay.
Have you seen Split?
I haven't. No.
There's like a monster in that movie, and the sound that he created for the monster, it connected with me in the same way like a song connects with you, where you think about it later. Like I'll think about that sound that he made in that movie to be this monster's like roar, and I'm obsessed with how dope it was. So there's just stuff like that I think that my skills in the editing department, and then on top of the sound thing, I feel like I could be really dope at that if I got more opportunities to do stuff like that.
When I think of sound design like that, I mean, yeah, I go for all these like brilliant big action films, but I just remember as a kid watching Blues Brothers, and I was allowed to watch it when I was really young, and I probably shouldn't have because of the amount of swearing and that type of stuff. But what really gets me in the Blues Brothers soundtrack, they're going up to their apartment by the tube station, and the who is it? I don't know, Carrie Fisher or someone. She rocket launches the building, right? And the whole building goes down, right? And it's the sound of the bricks. And I don't know, it doesn't sound like bricks, but it's such a really beautiful percussive sound that they've got to, and like even to this day, I can still like sort of visualize the sound in my head and stuff. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy
weird how
how
little
it
things
was.
like that can. I mean, it really just like lifts the whole like production, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't consciously notice it, but I think subconsciously it does a lot for a movie.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can change it the whole thing, can't you? If you like,
Yeah.
when you rescore something.
Right. And just subtle things like when a movie has bad sound design, you notice it. Like
What do you notice more,
it's
like the sort of the dialogue? I mean, I always notice when dialogue's been re-recorded.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a thing. There's so much once you learn about technical stuff involving sound or video or a combination of both. As a viewer, there's so many things like that are so distracting.
Oh, for sure.
And I lean over to my girlfriend like, "Hey, they re-recorded that."
I
She
was
doesn't
exactly
care
the
at all.
same.
She could not care less. But
I'm
it's
like,
like,
oh, there's a
yeah, you
brilliant green
notice.
screen going on. She goes, you fucking ruined the
Yeah,
film.
yeah,
Like, now I'm just thinking
yeah.
about like,
I was just watching Big Little Lies. Have you watched that on HBO?
No, what's that about?
Okay, it's an HBO show about like these California moms who I don't want to give away the first season. There's a big like spoiler in it, but it's just these bitchy cunty moms. It's got like Reese Witherspoon and I forget her name. It's got a bunch of these famous middle-aged women, but there was a scene where they did like a head they were supposed to be showing these two twins when they were younger, and you could tell they like head replaced both of them and like changed the guy's face. And that's all I'm seeing when I'm watching it. I'm not taking in any of the dialogue or anything that's actually happening. I'm just like staring at these visual effects that I notice. Distracted by.
Who and what question would you ask another producer, given that you could ask anyone anything?
What question? Damn. I really don't know if I guess this is kind of my personality, man. I don't ask people stuff. Like, I'm never the type of person to be like, hey, man, how did you do that? Or where did like this come from? I don't know. I'm very like, I guess I don't think that other people care about me in that way. So I don't care about other people in that way, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Like I love people's music, and there's like I'm the biggest Madlib fan in the world. I would be so happy to meet him and to talk to him or whatever. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I would grill him or anything. I don't think I have questions like that.
Do you think all the stuff with Madlib's probably already out there anyway, and probably been all those stories have been told?
Perhaps. So yeah. So that's a good point. And as I was saying, the answer, it did remind me of. I work with Houseshoe now. Because he's got Street Corner Music, and we put out Believe together, and we're actually working on another one now. But yeah, well, there's times where I'm with Houseshoes, and I fan out because of he was the guy that discovered Jay Dilla, who was the reason I started making beats the way I did. Like he was just so influential to me early on. So there's times with Houseshoes where I'll throw in a question about Dilla or whatever, and even as I'm saying it, I'm kind of embarrassed. Like, like it's corny for me to ask this, but I just have to.
For sure.
Sometimes it just you're just so curious about stuff, you have to ask. But
you still got like another 10 minutes or something, or?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, I have 10 more minutes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's just like go straight in on stuff like plugins and that type of thing. Is there something that you use on every track, like a go-to EQ or a go-to compressor?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm actually since I'm at the computer, I'm gonna open the FL Studio right now just so I don't forget anything.
Is that what you're still using now, like FL?
Yeah,
like all this time.
Yeah, all this time. So I've tried everything. I've tried Ableton, Cubase, Reason. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few others, but yeah, I've tried everything, and I was really, really trying to get into Ableton because so many people,
for sure,
who make beats do it. But there's one specific feature about FL Studio that Ableton doesn't have, is this master pitch bend, and there's obviously third-party plugins that you can use to do that, but it fucks with the quality of the sound. So that I'm obsessed with FL Studio's master pitch bend. Like I'll make a beat and then just pitch it down 400 cents, because you can. And a lot of times it completely changes the beat and makes me fall in love with it in a different way.
They said that like K Tranda used to do that type of thing with he'd make a beat and then he'd put it into like virtual DJ and pitch it uploads, and then all of a sudden it's sort of like a it's like a mid-tempo groove track rather than a hip-hop joint.
I've been doing that too. Oh, but he speeds it up too, you mean?
Yeah, he speeds it up instead of slows it down.
Yeah.
So when you do that type of stuff, then do you make the song faster in the first place because you're gonna speed it down later?
No, see, I don't speed it down. I just pitch it down.
Oh, and
so the tempo is the same.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess that's the thing that Ableton probably doesn't have. if you're pitching it down, it's slowing it down. So yeah, I'm keeping the same tempo, and I'm just pitching it down, and that's
And is there artifacts and that type of stuff in that?
yeah, yeah. And but yeah, you're asking about plugins. There is a plugin I use every single time on every beat as a master plugin, the Ozone 8. Have you
Sure.
got? Do you have?
Yeah. Honestly,
Ozone.
I have all of them, man. Like, I've.
Okay, they were like life changing for me. Like, I could not. You know how there's sort of like a loudness war, quote unquote,
Sure.
where like Flying Lotus probably has the loudest, sharpest music, or at least it comes to mind. His music is so damn loud, and I would always try to emulate that or try to get to that level of loudness. Like, I'm obsessed with playing stuff on my phone, and if my song is quieter than somebody's, I like take it personal. Like, I get so mad if somebody else has like mixed their shit louder than me.
A lot of that is just like taking out bass and like limiting it again, you know?
Yeah, but this maximizer plugin, basically, the way I make my beats, once I added that, my beats were so loud. I use this. There's a preset called Maintain Transients.
Wait, this is the Ozone plugin and not the Fruit Loops maximizer, because that's particularly badass as well.
Oh no, yeah, no, not the Fruity Loops maximizer, but that one is dope. No, I use the Ozone 8 maximizer, the Maintain Transients plugin, and then I just adjust the ceiling and the threshold, and some of the other settings on there too. But yeah, that one is like that one saved my life. I used to be so obsessed with the volume thing, and then once I got that one, it was like, okay, I don't have to worry about that anymore.
I'm going to hip you to a really good plugin. I've got to find out what it's called, because I renamed it because I could never remember what it was called. Let me just Google this shit. So
Yeah.
Pro Audio DSP DSM version 2. Although version 3 is out now, I've not tried it. But so what this does is you play a song through it, and it captures the sort of the profile of the song. And then it works like having a compressor on every frequency. So it's like having 20,000 compressors all working, you know?
Yeah.
And what you can do is you can copy the flavor of one thing, put it to the other, and it's not just like copying the peaks like RMS. It's like copying like between the lows and the highs and stuff. So I mean, I've put a couple of like Flying Lotus things through there, and it's really useful. I don't use it so much anymore for when I'm mastering other people's stuff, but I'd recommend having a play with it, because
okay, dope. I looked it up right now.
it's really good for audio, for voices, for like vocals and that type of thing, because you can sort of use it like a really extreme de-esser. Like,
right. Okay.
I would check the videos on YouTube of it, because it's a brilliant example. They've just got some like whack jazz music playing, and the guy goes, right, well, this is it through, and here's it with an extra 24. I don't know, like they put the ratio up to like 100-1, like limiting.
Yeah.
And say, right, well, here it is with an extra 20 dB of volume, and you're going, well, yeah, that's good. It's still dynamic. You know, it's like, hasn't just like crushed the whole thing. It's
right.
It's gotten the flavor of it. It's crazy. It's probably not as it's probably not as easy to use as you know, like the Ozone stuff. That reminds me. Do you have Ozone 5? I've got that just for the reverb, because they took that out.
No,
right?
I didn't even know about that. No, so I've only had Ozone for about a year, because that was another one that was hard for me to torrent for some reason. I kept having problems with Ozone.
Sure.
So I have Ozone 6 and Ozone 8, but I don't have 5.
So after 5, they took away the reverb, and the reverb was like, it was weird to have a mastering reverb, but actually there's loads of projects I get come in, and the artist just cuts off at the end, and you go, well, that's okay, but I can make this sound really nice. And I don't ever use that reverb for anything else. I wouldn't use it in a production, but for some reason it's just, it's like perfect for the job, for the end of a track if it's cut out too early or some other stuff. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, it might be worth like having a dig for it, just for the just for the reverb option.
Yeah.
So
I've been
gone.
I'm a huge fan of this one somebody showed me a few months ago called RC20 Retro Color.
Yeah, brilliant. I've been on that. I've been on
Okay,
that a lot the last again a couple of months and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good for. I think it's going to get overdone. Like we're going to hear it in everything. Like.
Yeah, I'm worried about that as well. So I've been trying to make my own presets with it, so at least I know like I'm not going to hear something so similar to, an effect that I used.
There's a YouTube channel called Beat Academy.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen that. I think I've seen some of this.
It's really good. And it'll go like, okay, so this is us recreating the, I don't know, a Ariana Grande song or something, and he's just doing it in Ableton. And I was following him along just to get my chops up in Ableton, because I'm like you. It wasn't my favorite, and everybody's you see a lot of people use it. So now I've played with it enough and got there that I find Ableton's really useful for playing with ideas and just getting a couple different versions of things going, like how you would in like an MPC, like you'd have a different you'd have different patterns stored.
Right.
Sometimes that's not so easy when you're using. I use Reaper, which is like I guess like a Cubase sort of Logic type thing, and it's really powerful, and it doesn't come with any like stock samples or synths, but you can just do crazy shit with it, and it's like really you can write scripts and you pretty much make it do anything. But anyway, so I've literally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so this Beat Academy guy. Now that he's got this RC20 plugin, I see it in every video now, and he's like, okay, well, we just want to make this sound a bit more. It sounds a bit too synthy at the moment. Let's just put this on. And gives it something in the real world. Okay, so another top tip that I'm probably I'm giving away like a big secret on this one is there's a completely random plugin I found called Synth Warmer.
Okay.
Right, and what Synth Warmer is an emulator of like a Moog filter, like just like I think they're called ladder filters, right? But with a bit of drive and you subtly mix it in, it can make the most basic whack like VST synth sound like analog. It's nuts. Like, so a bit of RC20 and a bit of Synth Warmer, and you really look like looking good with just like the worst sort of just like a sine wave or something.
There that for some reason reminded me of this whole other issue that I was having for a long time until I discovered a plugin that saved my life. And I'll tell you it, but I'm not gonna say it here because it's like something that's so precious to me that I found that nobody knows about.
Okay,
but cool. I had so much trouble making acapellas early on. Like I would watch so many videos.
The phase inversion, the instrumental and I mean that was mixed results, right?
Yeah, that shit never ever worked for me. And I know so many people that have the same problem. And I came across a plugin that was free, and you take the beat obviously, and you take the song, and it creates like an almost flawless acapella from it.
Okay, yeah, and you definitely have to tell me this off air. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll tell you.
Oh man, you just reminded me of a good one. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, so I made this video about it must have been like 2012, and you know the story about Mardi Gras about the bells.
No, I don't think so.
So the Bob James song "Take Me to the Mardi Gras" and it's got the Run DMC.
Right. Yeah.
So there was always like this legendary story that like Biz Markie had a version without the bells on.
Okay.
It sort of it turned out that like K-Def had sort of done it via isolation, and completely unrelated. Maybe in 2007 and stuff, I was using this really weird plugin called Voice Trap V20. And I don't think it's done by. It's just like one guy. I don't think he ever made it. It's not like a studio or anything.
Right.
And I was using it on library records, and I was getting really good results isolating bits. And I was like, well,
Hmm.
and no one was really talking about that type of thing at the time. So I did this video about Mardi Gras, about the bells, and I used this thing, and it's fantastic. I'll link you to that at some point, man. Like,
Yeah, dude, that reminds me. There's another one that I can't say either, that you have two options where it can either just take the drums, like, or just take the music, whatever. It deletes the drum. You can keep only the drums or just delete
I
the
know
drums.
the one. I think I know the one.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it grayish blue?
Let me look. I don't remember the color. But that's one. Yeah, mine's gray. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know the one. I mean, I've got a new technique now, and I've been doing stems for people where it does
Mhm.
it does it like that, but to the next level. But
What's
I've
that?
been really holding back on it because, like, there's some cats who literally make their career off that now. Like, just
Yeah.
being able to do that sort of level of thing, and
Damn.
I don't know, it's like magician circle stuff, but no one wants to
Right.
sort of
Yeah.
give away their income or whatever. I mean, I've
Yeah.
not made any money off it,
Which is
but loads of
fine. Yeah.
artists have
Like,
come to me and they've gone, oh yeah, can you, they'll send me the song and I'll come back to them and say, right, here's this, here's that.
right. Damn, I need that job.
It's good, man. It's cool. Like, yeah, if you ever need anything, just send it my way and I'll send you back some isolated parts and stuff.
Yeah. Dope. That's
Uh,
awesome.
cool, man. Well, look, it's actually getting near an hour now, so
Yeah.
I've definitely taken enough of your time. Been really, really good talking to you, man. Like, yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Do you have social media things that you would like to tweet? What's it called?
Mhm.
Like, tell people.
Sure, yeah. Definitely follow me on Instagram at Ghost McGrady, Twitter Ghost McGrady, and YouTube Ghost McGrady. The YouTube is where the thing I'm most proud of. So yeah, everybody go follow my YouTube. I put out full videos for every project. So there's some really long videos for you to just kind of sit there and trip out to. And I'm about to release a new project soon in the next few weeks, I'll say.
Wow.
So check for that.
Cool, man. Well, yeah. Thanks for that, and yeah, catch you soon.
All right, man. Appreciate you. All right, peace.
So you've been listening to Check the Technique, episode 1. Remember to like, subscribe, add, find the Herma Puma Bandcamp, buy my stuff, all that type of good stuff. Mixcloud, Pimpernel Jones, and I'll see you next week with another great guest. So there you go. That's episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like this format to sort of get more technical with producers. In your comments, put any suggestions for other people that you'd like me to cover. I've got some really great guests coming up. And yeah, go subscribe and speak to you soon.